Hello, everybody. Good to see that quite a few people still are here at the end of the second day. As been introduced, so we are talking about how we can convert fans from their Web2 environment into Web3 projects. We have here three different topics: gaming, music, sports. And we are trying to reach out to those fans with different projects, and we want to talk about it, how we are approaching this. So my name is Dirk. I'm an entrepreneur since more than 20 years now. Spent most of the time with a gaming background as well. With a former company where I was doing a fantasy sports product with a Bundesliga license, so made the step towards sports as a topic, and then started to look into NFTs in 2018 when the Major League Baseball, as the first professional sports league, came up with an NFT product. And then from there, did follow that route further because it made for me total sense to combine these fan engagement models and community models with NFTs and let users really own their players that they put into a virtual team. And so then after I sold my former company, I started fanzone.io. We are now live since with our beta since roughly a year. Started with the German national football team last summer for the European Championships. Then onboarded different partners from the sports space, like the German basketball national team, Bundesliga clubs like Wolfsburg and Schalke, FC Bayern basketball, the German Olympic team. And so we are doing our regular new jobs with NFT collections with our IP partners. So far, we have sold around 30,000 NFTs, and so already more than 400,000 trades on the marketplace. Yeah, from there on, our next highlight, obviously the Football World Cup coming up, where we will have a new collection of NFTs with the German national football team, and hopefully the team will play better than last year in summer. So that's all about me, and now I would like you to introduce yourself a bit and give a bit of your personal background and what are you doing, what is the current project. Phil, you want to start?
Yeah, hey guys, my name is Phil. Hello, D Mexico. Back in Cologne, Cologne homeboy, and working in the music industry. I'm a founder of amuse.io, so we are building a music manager game. As you know, there is another manager game in NFT space. It's called Sorare, so we are literally doing Sorare on or for the music industry. So we're working with German and French artists, for example, Bad Moms J, Cool Savage, so the rap heads, they know exactly what we are doing, and our goal is to gamify the music industry. So as a customer, you can build your fantasy label and can play with it. Yeah. So my background is in marketing. I did many years of brand management for several companies, and now we're here.
Yeah, and I'm the gaming guy. I'm from Berlin, not from Cologne, actually. So my background is already in gaming. So I was co-founding a Web2 gaming company before called Colibri Games. We developed free-to-play mobile games. We focused there on the idle tycoon genre. And we got there quite successful, had over 150 million downloads, 10 million monthly active users. And we got acquired by Ubisoft in 2020. Last year, we left the company as founders and decided to kind of pool the money from the exit and invest into companies again, like kind of giving back something, also like not just money, but also the knowledge which we gained over time. And during that time, I also looked a lot into Web3. Was participating there a lot, looked at all the technologies, but then also like bought some NFTs, engaged with the communities, and of course played some of the Web3 games. I saw there was a lot of potential and a lot of unused potential, some problems here and there. And at some point I decided to then kind of enter the Web3 gaming market. So now with Angry Dynamite's lab, we are working on a co-op multiplayer game on the blockchain. We did their first NFT sale already in June, which worked out pretty well. It was a smaller collection of 500 NFTs, but with rising floor price. And now we're actually working on the second collection in October 13, if anyone wants to participate. And then we are actually building the game out of it.
Yeah, so I think we saw the first NFTs in 2017 with CryptoKitties, at least publicly. Who in the room owns a CryptoKitty or did buy a CryptoKitty by then? Only one. So and it's already that's like 4 years, and it took 4 years until 2021 that really sort of had the hype came that projects like NBA Top Shot in the sports world, people, etc. I think most of us know these projects really, triggered NFT as sort of and then generated like a public hype. Now we are in a bear market again. So what did trigger you or motivate you to start, let's say, an NFT company in the current market, the market environment, and how do you see the market?
So why we did it was that NFT gave us the opportunity to do it. So our two problems in the industry are that the artists, the revenue streams are not fair enough. You know, the majors are owning a lot, the streaming services are owning a lot, and with NFT, it was possible to manage that the artist and the fan can benefit from the success of the artist. So that's why we did it. It is the underlying technology we are using, but NFT is not the buzzword in the end. Yeah, for us it's just the technology, and we are happy that we have the technology, and yeah. So let's see what happens within the next months.
Yeah. So for me, like last year, there was like a big play to earn gaming hype, which kind of attracted already like a lot of users and talent, but it wasn't very sustainable. And now in the bear market, actually a lot of these users are actually leaving again because they don't have like so many financial incentives left. But there's still some users sticking to it, and there's also came a lot of new talent into the gaming Web3 gaming market. And I think now it's the right time to build in a bear market, which is not so distracted by a lot of other things. I think also a lot of like the bad actors in the space are kind of leaving because they can't make any money anymore. And I think now more and more like kind of people who want to build sustainable businesses in the space are entering. And I think therefore it's now the right time to build something and to prepare in order to be ready for the next bull market actually.
Yeah, I agree. What something that we discuss at Fans pretty often is about target groups. So because you have like obviously you have the NFT investors, enthusiasts, traders, how you want to call them, like the early adopters are really into it already completely. And then we have obviously sports fans, football fans, basketball fans, and we did think, okay, who exactly, how let's say narrow or broad are we trying to approach our target group? So how do we define that, and how do we reach out to them? So what is your approach on that? How you define your target group for your project, and how you try to reach them in order to onboard them to your platform?
Yeah, so we actually want to start with like onboarding the Web3 native audience because they are already sold about Web3 and know how things are working. So it's easier to kind of get them on board. But it's definitely a smaller audience if you compare it to the Web2 audience. So I think it's good to start there because we can learn from them already. The good thing is like most of these users are actually like super highly engaged, and they give you a lot of feedback. They want to work with you together, and we want to use this asset actually to kind of test our first game product and so on and so forth. But later we want to simplify like the onboarding process, maybe also integrate like a free-to-play mechanic where people don't need to buy any assets or create a wallet in the first place, but rather can start the game without any bigger barriers, and then later only get introduced to all these wallets, NFTs, tokens, and so on and so forth. So therefore we are basically can then make it easier to attract this way bigger Web2 market and get them onboarded.
So it's not going to be completely on-chain, so it's like partly off-chain, partly on-chain, or is it?
Yeah, right. So most of the game is actually off-chain, but you will be able to transfer your assets out of the game. So it will be either in-game currencies, you can put them in your wallet, and you can trade them against other in-game currencies. You can also have your NFTs, which are kind of characters in the game, also like be transferred into the wallet, and therefore you really own it and can also maybe use it in other projects where like kind of this interoperability aspect comes in.
So yeah, our target audience is the music listener. So maybe everybody here. Yeah, and in the end, it's the best way for us. Yeah, to use our artists. So the artists are promoting Amused, and we try to onboard users into Web3 very, very easily. So we're using a fiat checkout, yeah, like in an online shop, and it's quite easy to use Amused. Of course, yeah, it's right now quite difficult to bring it together with Web3 applications. Yeah, for example, the wallet. We used a custodial wallet many months, but as you know, in Germany, it's quite a difficult topic. So that's why we are using another wallet solution now, launching soon. And for us, the customer is you, my mother, my father, and hopefully Kanye West. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, that sounds like you're targeting the broader audience from the beginning because you want to make reduce the entry hurdles as much as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we need to do a lot of education, yeah. So, we are not using Twitter, for example, yeah. For us, it's TikTok and Instagram, yeah. So, and it's quite difficult to explain it on these platforms, but we're trying our best.
Okay. Then, Ollie, I have a specific question for as a gamer and a gaming company because if you look at currently at DAUs, MAUs, daily active user, monthly active users in the gaming space, especially the free-to-play game space, obviously millions of users. If you're not having more than 1 million, you're probably a small game, so to say. And if you look at numbers, obviously in Web3 games, there's a couple of thousands normally. So how do you see how long will it take, or what do you think is necessary to reduce that gap, or to really, let's say, bring gaming communities then to a relevant size in a Web3 game?
Yeah, right. So I think like the Web3 gaming market is still kind of a niche market. So there's not so many players yet in there compared to the Web2 market. So I think like Axie Infinity, which is probably one of the most popular games out there, has like rough or a little bit less than 1 million daily active users. If you compare that to Candy Crush, for example, it has more than 100 million users. So it's like 1 of 100 times smaller than in the Web2 market. So I think that's why we actually need to onboard like also more players to the space. I think still a positive side on the Web3 gamers is that they are way more engaged. So I think like the users you get there, if you look at like retention numbers or also like how much money they maybe spend in your games, it's way higher than most of what you have in Web2. So these are the people who actually made already like kind of or went through the barrier in order to play the game, and therefore they are more likely to stay than also if you compare to the casual Web2 market.
Yeah, that's also what we see. We have not really a game; it's more like a gamified collectible platform. But the average revenue per paying user is already a lot higher than we would normally see in a free-to-play game, and obviously then this makes it interesting. But obviously you need to retain them as well. The retention question is the same probably.
Yeah, right. I think like in general there are quite a lot of barriers right now still for people to get onboarded to Web3. There's of course first the technical aspect. You kind of need to understand how a transaction works, how you set up a wallet, and so on and so forth. The UX is still, in my opinion, quite terrible if you compare it to most of the Web2 things. You need to set up a wallet, you need to write down 24 words, you need to keep them very safe, otherwise it's completely lost, and so on and so forth. And then there's also like with a lot of the games, especially last year, you needed to acquire assets which were super expensive in order to just start playing the game. So I basically last year bought Axies for $1,000 in order to find out that the game is not fun for me. Unfortunately, I didn't sell them afterwards, so they're worthless now. But
it's not a suitable model for everyone, right?
Yeah,
to test it out, to buy something for $1,000. So
yeah, it's super crazy. So we kind of need to work on all of these things. We need to reduce all these barriers.
Yeah.
So kind of make it abstracted technicalities, so the user don't need to understand all the technical side. We need to have better UX, especially on the wallet side. I think there's a lot of improvements made recently as well. And we also need to find ways on how users can start playing a game or onboard any other product without needing to acquire expensive assets, because that's not for the mass market.
Yeah. And Phil, for music, so I think that music industry seems to or can be, from my opinion, one of the most interesting sort of areas where the blockchain technology really can bring, could really sort of revolutionize. Maybe the bird is too big, maybe not. How do you see that? It's really has the potential, the technology, to disrupt the music industry again. So is it sort of dangerous for players like Spotify, or because users can consume music with NFTs in a different way, and creators, musicians can sort of try to exploit their copyrights in a different way? So how do you see that being relevant for the music industry?
So I think right now it's a chaotic industry, yeah. So, but the problem is that we can't work without Spotify. So it's an unpopular opinion in Web3, I guess, yeah. But without them, we can't do anything, because the artist is still, or it's a very important income stream for the artist. Spotify, Deezer, whatever, yeah, and also the major labels. In Web3, there are many guys trying to get rid of them, yeah. So we are Web3 now, we don't need you, blah blah blah. This is bullshit. Sorry, yeah. In the end, we need to do it together. We're creating a new world right now. So, and this is not possible as a single player. We need to do it together, yeah. So, and we need to find a good way also for the artists, yeah. For example, on Spotify, I mean, it's not a secret, you're earning not that much, yeah. So, and in Web3 it's more liberal. So, and we need to do it together, because we can use the structures, as Ollie mentioned. The user experience in Web2 is not that bad, right? So in Web3 it's difficult. So why not work together? Yeah? Same with major labels. Yeah? We talk to a lot of major labels here in Germany and also in the States, and the common base is that we need something new. Yeah, and the way is Web3, but maybe first we need to start with Web 2.5.
And how do you think how does I don't know if you've spoken to them, but how does Spotify look at the new technology? Because they could obviously start, they have the reach, they have obviously all the means to use the technology themselves. So how do you think they are looking at that?
I think time will tell, yeah. Let's see what happens within the next months. So there are many competitors, for example, Royal.io, who are doing a great job. But in the end, if Spotify is activating their user base and adding NFTs, I think it could be quite interesting, yeah.
And for the artists, so how is your experience so far when you approach artists? So how they look at it, and so they say, okay, it's an additional. Are they free to do so? Is it a lot about management and labels to talk with, or how the artists look at that?
I mean, it depends. Are we speaking about major artists? It's of course difficult, because it's a revenue stream in the end, and they need to speak to their management, right? So, but there are many independent artists, and of course they're using Web3 more, because they can do experiments, they can do testings, and in the end, it's quite creative right now. Yeah, everybody's trying to sell something. For example, there was Crow with his mask, yeah, or Cool Savage on Nifty for 30K, I guess. Yeah, his text from King of Rap, quite interesting. It was Wild West, like in the whole space, and right now it's getting serious. Yeah.
And we have seen that currently, because in the current market situation, obviously that it's still in the public, let's say, awareness that NFT crypto has sort of a negative connotation to many people. So we see that with fans, obviously, that it's polarizing a lot still. So when we do a new announcement, maybe together with a Bundesliga club like Schalke 04, that they obviously have also a big traditional fan base, maybe even more than an older part of the audience, and obviously younger fans as well. They have more than 1 million followers on Instagram. But for us, it's okay. But then when they release a news that they now get an NFT collection, okay, they get also pretty much like a backslash from the fans. And on the other hand, you have the younger people who write directly to us and say, okay, well, that's very cool. Can we help in some way? So how do you think how does it look with your two target groups then?
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar in the gaming space as well. So
Ubisoft did announce it and did get a bit backslash as well, right?
Again, please.
When Ubisoft was announcing they are now to introduce NFTs, they also got a bit of.
Yeah, right. I think there's definitely a group of very hardcore gamers, which are also very vocal, which are very against like kind of the free-to-play games. They had like a vocal voice there. They said like, okay, it's just like about making money. It's not like real gaming. It's something where the developers want to grab the money from the users. And in free-to-play gaming, I think now the free-to-play gaming market is almost twice as big as the whole PC and console market. So I think now they are saying the same for Web3 games. They say like, okay, they are only like kind of people want to make money fast with selling NFTs for high prices and then not delivering on it. There are a lot of rug pulls, a lot of scams, and so on and so forth. And to some degree, I think they're also right. I think like what we seen last year, especially, there a lot of these things happened, and I can understand that they see it that way. But I think the blockchain technology has so much more, and actually can bring in so many cool new things for the gamers itself, like the whole ownership aspect, that you can own the assets in game and can decide what you do with them, and it's not just kind of caught in one game, but you can maybe use it for other games as well. I think these are like big plus points, and I think like if we build games which are as fun as Web2 games and adding these advantages to it, I think that's when we can actually convince these people to try out these Web3 games and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so almost coming to an end, and what you normally do in a panel at the end is asking to look into the future. And so obviously in our market, that's not too easy. I remember where I was at NFT NYC conference in February 2020. We were with 500 people there, I believe, one room. All obviously believers, yeah, they were coming together in the community and in New York. And then, okay, there were Corona 2021, and in 2022 we had 15,000, I guess, at the conference. So, but now obviously, yeah, the hype year is over, but still, obviously, the overall community did grow. I think in Germany we are not early adopters per se, and we look at. Probably we are more followers in many when it comes to new technologies. But how do you see that? Obviously, NFT, let's say, a lot of games and also our projects are all per se global when it comes to the target group. But still, we are in Germany. We are targeting at least also the German audience. So, if you look into the future, what's your guess then? When you like maybe number of active wallets, how much are we going to have in Germany end of next year, end of 2024?
80 million.
80 million.
Yeah, hopefully. No, I think if we are doing it right, yeah, together with the other brands in the entertainment industry, hopefully 10. Still optimistic, right?
Still optimistic, but okay, I follow you.
I also think like one of the next big trends will definitely be entertainment, be it games, be it like gamified approaches, like what you do with Amuse and Fanzone. I think like there we can really bring like the mass market to Web3. And if you look right now, like how many gamers are in the Web2 market, so I think in Germany like half of the population are gamers or actually play games from time to time. And these are basically 40 million people, which we theoretically can onboard through gaming or gamified experience alone. And I think like if we do like kind of onboard 20% of these people to Web3 games in the next 2 years, I think that's already quite a success. So it would also be very similar to what you said, having something between 8 to 10 million wallets. I think that would definitely be a quite good success.
Yes, I agree. I think that gamers have been always, or I've seen that, with mobile games, we have seen that in 2012, something around that gamers are the ones who drive new technologies pretty often. So I think they can be really a driving force here as well, and because they adopt new technologies. Obviously, but the game or the experience, I think no matter if it's a game, or if it's a gamified music platform or a gamified sports collectibles platform, the user experience needs to be good, and then I also believe we will get there. Okay, thank you both. And do you want to add something, famous last words, or?
Yeah, I think like we were talking a lot about the bear market, but I think like a lot of like what we see here now, there are so many people actually still believing in the space, so many builders, and I think like that just shows like that we are in a bear market, but I guess there's so many new talents coming in. I think like this will definitely turn out great in the future, and I think like we're still bullish, although if you look at your portfolio, maybe it's going down. But I think in the next few years, like we can definitely build something great with Web3, and I think like this conference shows that it's actually the case.
Agree.
Okay, good. Thank you all.